Happy Friday, San Diego. How we doing? Now, you're not just here at some regular panel. You are here for a Marvel panel, right? So how we doing? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, wonderful. Welcome to Marvel Heroes, Hulks, and Super Soldiers. We have so much to talk about today. We have world premieres of stuff. We have announcements. We have all kinds of incredible things to talk about today. So let's get it underway. My name is Nick Lowe. I am the Spider Editor at Marvel, and I'm so glad to be with y'all here today. Joining me today, we have Mr. Philip Kennedy Johnson. Come right up. Buddy, welcome. Also joining us today, writer David Pepose. Woo, 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 woo. Buddy, welcome aboard. I love doing it this way, having them come in one by one. All right, here we go. Also, making his grand return to Marvel, we have writer J. Michael Straczynski. Yeah. Woo! Welcome aboard. Oh, it's not showing up on the screen. We okay here? Do we have a wrong connection? No? The slideshow up there or no? Is that okay? Just a video of us, right? Yeah. Can we get that? Is that possible?
Well, there is a problem with the cameras because no matter what they do with the lenses, you can still see me.
Oh, that's true.
I know.
Well, we know at least you're not a vampire.
Well, we haven't decided that yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, we're just going to keep going because it's just pictures of us, and you can see actual us up here. So we're going to keep going until we get to the stuff that we can't just reenact. Okay?
No.
All right. We also have Editor-in-Chief C.B. Cebulski. Yeah, number 4 is listed here. Yeah.
4 is lit. The others are not. Is that okay?
All right. So like I said, here, while they look at it, I'm going to grab a different microphone. They'll tell me when it's time. Is this one on? There
Did you introduce yourself? You did, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay,
I did.
sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm just going to go off memory until, oh, there we go. I think it should be showing soon. It's on at least our presenter screen. Maybe we'll get it up there soon. But one of the reasons why we're here is, like I said, we have a writer making his grand return to Marvel after many years away. J. Michael Straczynski is back. Like I said, are there any fans of his Supreme Power out there? Supreme Power, right? Are there any fans of his run on FF out there? Are there any fans of the 12 out there?
Yeah, somebody.
Are there any fans of a little book called Amazing Spider-Man out there? Absolutely. Well, Joe, we are so glad to have you back at Marvel, and we are so excited to start talking about what book you're going to be doing. And I'm hoping to wait until we get this up and running, because the art is going to speak for itself so much. What has it been like coming back to Marvel so far?
It has been just terrific. It's always felt like home to me for a very long time. And I had the opportunity through Tom Brevoort, through Will Moss, to begin doing short pieces for Marvel, for the Thanos book, for the Thor anniversary issue. And it sounded one fan clapping. and then one day they said, "Would you like to do Captain America?" And I was like, yes. Because I was always been a huge fan of Cap. Whenever I could sneak him into the Spider-Man run, I would do so.
Yeah.
But it's been terrific, and a lot of the editors have been great to work with. We have an astonishing artist, Jesus Say, is working on this thing. And the work that Jesus is doing on this book is just completely, as you'll see, off the hook. Yep. But it's been just a really satisfying experience.
And any fan of yours knows when you take on a book, you don't just do like a half dive into it. You go deep dive. And one of the things that we've loved about what you've been doing so far is you're digging deep into New York City, into the Lower East Side. What pushed you to want to do that?
Well, it's a combination of just not the geography, but also Cap himself, because as much as I like playing with the big toys, I'm a character guy.
Yeah.
And that's why when I worked on the Thor movie, my point of view was Asgard great, effects great, fights great, but at the end of the day, it's two brothers competing for their father's affection. That's the story. And there's a period where early in Cap's life, we never really got to know who he was. We know that he was not doing well, he was sickly, a little guy, and then became Captain America. What happened before that? And so I said, basically there are 4 stories going on here at the same time, which is, I almost said triangulated, but that wouldn't work with 4. And the present tense story, I have him. He's living in the apartment with everyone else who's in that apartment building. His parents live there, and they're about to be pushed out because they want to sell the building. And Cap calls Iron Man and says, "Can I borrow some money to buy this?" And he does, and rent control suddenly, and begins renovating the place. So now it's Captain America Contractor. But that gives me the opportunity to look through his eyes to his past when he was growing up there as a kid. And there was a period between when his mom passed away, his parents passed away, and when he became Captain America of about 4 years, give or take, when he was on his own as a 16, 17-year-old kid. And nobody had ever touched that story. I thought, that's a pivotal time. You look at Peter Parker during that time. You look at any other character, that's a formative period. And so he was on his own, being scrappy, and I wanted to figure out what made Steve Rogers the man that he became the hero later on. What's the inside of the character? And what I discovered and realized in my research is that those are the same years in New York that the American Bund, the American Nazi Party, was on the rise in New York and having rallies and protests and marches and so on. And that would be his first exposure to them in a personal way. So now all of a sudden I have a much larger story I can talk to you that speaks to a lot of different issues that then connects back to the present again as there is a force, a supernatural force, that is sort of trying to change the future away from what it could become. And I chose that because Cap tends to fight guys he can knock out and hit. You can't hit a demon. Well, you can, but it won't go well for you afterward. And now those are the 4 points. Rebuilding the area, working more and more with folks in New York, the past of his own life, how he managed to survive during those years, what he was seeing in the streets, and back into the present with a supernatural story.
That's so cool. And it's crazy to think that in more than 80 years of Cap stories that no one had done that. It's just amazing. So, and you don't have to take our word for it how awesome this book looks. To see, we have a world premiere, a global premiere of a trailer for Captain America #1 by J. Michael Straczynski and Jesus Saiz. And it goes a little something. So get ready for September when Captain America #1 comes out. Here's some more incredible Jesus Saiz art. What has it been like working with Jesus so far, Joe?
Jesus is off the hook, man, I'm telling you. He is extraordinary. He understood kind of the importance of the story we were telling and the relevance of it, and he dug in deep on his artwork. And honestly, I would love to see one issue of the black and white art printed by itself.
Oh my gosh.
is just so good.
Make a note of that.
So CB, I had an idea.
Yeah.
He's almost telepathic in the way he renders what I'm creating on the page, and it's just been a total joy working with him.
That's awesome. And here is the cover to number 2 with someone you might recognize out there in the audience. We get to see Spider-Man in number 2, Joe?
Yes, we do. One of the things I want to do while he's trying to fix up this building is other heroes keep coming to him to ask him for a favor because he's out and about. So Sue Storm comes to him and says, listen, we have a problem going on somewhere. Could you help us out? And he's in the middle of like sawing. Sure, goes off and has this massive adventure, comes back. And then Spidey shows up next issue, also with the request. And it's actually a very funny exchange, a very funny situation. And it's the first time I've written Spidey since the early Cretaceous period, really. So it was a fun opportunity to put those two back together again.
So great. And here's, I think, the never before seen cover to number 3.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, just Jesus is just unbelievable. The smoke, the rendering of the wood of the table.
And for those who know it, that's a dead man's hand, aces and eights.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. I like it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joe. Can we get a hand for Captain America's new creative team? Now, that's not all we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about another one of our esteemed writers up here, Mr. Philip Kennedy Johnson. You might know him from Marvel Zombies Resurrection. You may know him from Extreme Carnage. You may know him from his unbelievable run on Alien.
Yeah.
For 2 years of Alien. Well, he just debuted our new Incredible Hulk. Philip and Nick Klein have taken, I mean, the Hulk has been on quite a tear over the last few years. We had Immortal Hulk with Al Ewing and Joe Bennett, into Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley's Hulk run, and now this new Incredible Hulk run. Philip, what can you tell us about what you're doing in your Hulk run?
I mean, it's a huge honor to get to write the Hulk. I'm a massive horror fan, and to get to bring it back to his horror roots, in my view, is just a dream gig. Any Immortal Hulk fans out there? Yeah, I was such a fan. I love that. I mean, the part of the genius of that run is the way it tied back to the origin of Hulk as like a movie monster. You know, I really want to get back to that. And there was the big opportunity that came out of the Cates Ottley run is how at odds Banner and Hulk were. How we kind of see more malevolent side of Banner, and this run is where he kind of pays for that. And we're seeing Hulk and Banner now more at odds than they've ever been. So we all know the Hulk. The Hulk concept is so clear and concise. Like any little kid can get it, can understand what the Hulk is. But in the right hands, in the right creative team, you see how much more that relationship can mean, and just the depth of story you can tell with it. And with this story, instead of the whole you wouldn't like me when I'm angry thing, where you got this guy who has these rage issues, and when he gets angry, this other thing comes out and protects him and takes down the bad guy. I want to see a story in which it's almost like a metaphor for addiction, or like the "what did I do last night" kind of a thing, where you've got somebody who is deeply afraid of his darkest compulsions, somebody who is afraid of the thing that's inside of him, and he's on the run from it. Something like a movie monster, like he was originally intended to be,
Yeah.
Like the girl from The Ring, or the thing from It Follows, a thing that stalks its host. And that's where we see these guys now. So instead of "you wouldn't like me when I'm angry," we see Banner, where when he gets close to finding a moment's peace, or making a friend, or having something beautiful, or working towards something that he wants, this thing comes out of him. Just like he blacks out and he wakes up and everything's dead, and everything's like this thing comes out and tears him down. And to me, that is something that we can all relate to. Like if only I could control this side of me, I could have the thing that I want. Like this part of ourselves that we're constantly trying to master. That's the thing underneath all these stories that we're telling. But so that's the character bit that's driving the story. But honestly, man, I just love horror. I just really love horror.
I mean, look at these covers; they're terrifying.
No, look at this stuff. I really love folklore and mythology, and comic books are our modern day pantheons. It's our mythology. These stories are larger than life. I don't remember a time before I knew who Hulk was, and Hulk is just this ever-present thing. And so we're introducing a whole new bestiary of creatures into the Marvel universe that is, like, in my mind, we are building, all of us up here are building this tapestry of mythology that's going to outlive us. So I'm introducing a ton of folklore that I hope will outlive, you know, these individual issues. You're going to see the return of a lot of monsters from yesteryear of Marvel, things that Hulk faced a long time ago that we haven't thought about in a long time. Also, a lot of fan favorites. You see Man-Thing on the front there.
Yeah.
You've also got some other creatures you've never heard of before. You're going to see things from American folklore or from other countries, or creatures that I'm inventing myself just for these stories. It's going to be, if you want to see Hulk as a monster fighting other monsters in the book, short arcs, like 1 issue to 2 issue arcs of like constant jumping on points. That's what this is going to be. I miss the days when I love long arcs, but I also love really short arcs where I could pick up an old comic and just read it, and at the end of the issue, that story's done, and I can't wait for the next one. That's what the series is going to be. There's going to be a lot of jumping on points, Hulk fighting monsters constantly, super dope lore, world building. I'm super stoked.
It's so cool. It looks good. Thank you so much, Phelps. It looks incredible. For you fans today, we're showing off for the first time the cover to Incredible Hulk number 6.
Look at that.
He's about to get run over.
I didn't know we were showing this. This is like a Steve McQueen World War II era Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So
look at that cool uniform. He's got that helmet on there too. Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, Nazis are nature's perfect villain.
So true. And then you're joined on this by artist Nick Klein. CB, can you tell us a little bit about the choice that y'all made for Nick Klein coming into this book?
Yeah, you know, Nick was one of our Stormbreakers, which is our class of elite artists that we select every 2 years. And Nick was, Nick's in this class now, this year's class. And he's been an artist that's been around for a while, coming up on a number of different books. Fans of Thor here, I would assume, would know his work. I mean, there's been so much that Nick has contributed to the Marvel mythos. And when we were talking to Will Moss, who's the editor on this book, and he was telling us about the story and read Philip's first script, we're like, oh, we know who can draw this.
Yeah. All the monsters. Check out this next slide. It was some designs. These monster designs of his are just terrifying. Grendel? Question mark? Is it Grendel?
It was not the classic Grendel from the old stories. Like, we're just kind of workshopping names. I don't want to spoil too much. We're going to see the origin of this particular creature coming up in a future story. It's dope. It has its roots in like Native American skinwalker stories, and God, it's just
crazy.
So cool. I can't wait to show you.
And I wish I can't wait to see whatever that drawing in the middle looks like, a T-Rex with spider legs.
That was just he was just doodling, trying to figure out what he would design for something.
It's terrifying.
But the thing on the right, that is one of the forms that we're going to see of a creature named Eldest. We're going to get into we're going to get into some of the origins of the Marvel universe on Earth. You guys know names like the Demiurge, the Demigorge, things like that from like the old days of Marvel, like old issues of Silver Surfer and Thor. There is more mythology that we have not seen revealed yet, and part of that is the creature called the Mother of Horrors. And this particular creature on the right is something called Eldest, the Mother of Horrors' eldest child. And so cool. There's this big. We're going to see we'll see some things revealed. I don't want to reveal yet, but the Mother of Horrors and Eldest are searching for Hulk for a very specific reason that ties into the Green Door and the Immortal Hulk run and the One Below All and all those things.
So awesome. So awesome. Thank you so much. Can we get a hand for our incredible Hulk creative team and writer? Yes.
Thank you all for the great response to this book. Yeah. Keep it coming.
All right. Up next, we want to talk about the man who wrote two of my favorite of the last couple of years, Fantastic Four issues. He's been writing Avengers Unlimited, and he also wrote a great run of Savage Avengers, Mr. David Pepose.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
We are so excited that launching this month, we have Moon Knight, City of the Dead. And it's David Pepose, Marcelo Ferreira. This is so exciting. This book is so cool. These great Rod Rice covers. David, what can you tell us about the genesis of this Moon Knight, City of the Dead project and what makes it special?
Yeah, Tom Brevoort reached out to me, it was about a year ago, saying, do you have any ideas for Moon Knight? And I love writing Moon Knight. I got a nice chance to write him in Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, if you guys have read that. And So I was thinking, Jed MacKay is doing such an incredible job on the flagship title. I said, how can we do something that sort of fits in that wheelhouse, but kind of takes its own very specific direction? And the first question that I asked Tom was, could we introduce Layla El Fawly as the all-new Scarlet Scarab? And so, yeah, we started putting together a story. And the thing that I always really liked about Moon Knight is that he's a guy who has... He's a man who has blood in his hands, just based on his past. He got his start as a mercenary. He died. He was given a second chance by the god Khonshu, and he's been spending every night trying to make up for it since. A young runaway is attacked by a death cult and left for dead outside of the Midnight Mission. And while Moon Knight and his counterpart Hunter's Moon are able to save the kid, he's on life support. There's no brain activity. He died on the table for 5 minutes. But Mark says as long as there's still a spark of life left in him, he remains a traveler of the night. And that means that boy is still under his protection. So Mark detaches his soul and journeys to the city of the dead to rescue this kid.
So cool.
And the thing about Mark is, he's a guy with a body count. He has sent plenty of people to the underworld over the years, and as you will see, they are all dying for a taste of payback. So,
so awesome. Here's a design by Marcelo Ferreira of the Scarlet Scarab for her comic book Incarnation. So cool. Those wings are awesome that turn into the sword. So awesome. And here's a premiere for just you at this panel. Here's our cover for Moon Knight City of the Dead, number 5.
Yes.
That's a lot of Moon Knights fighting a lot of zombies or mummies. So cool.
Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't seen that cover yet. It looks terrific.
Yes. Rod is doing such incredible work on these covers. He's born to draw Moon Knight. It's nuts. But that's not all you're here to talk about, David, I don't think.
No.
I believe we have something else to announce here, buddy.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Do you want an announcement or should I just skip those slides? Do you want to hear it? Who is the Punisher? Now, anyone read the Jason Aaron, Jesus Saiz Punisher run that just finished a couple months ago? It did a lot with Frank Castle, put him in a very different place. He's not going to be putting on that skull shirt anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that someone else won't. Who is the Punisher? We have a new series coming out written by David Pepos, art by Dave Wachter. Cover, this is another Rod Rice wonderful cover. David, what can you tell us about this new Punisher book? It doesn't look like Frank Castle there.
No.
Who is that?
The man might be different, but the punishment remains the same. Yeah, I was so excited to be able to tackle this new series. I had written Punisher 2099 in the pages of Savage Avengers, and my editor, Tom Brevoort, really liked what we did with the character, and so he approached me and he said, we have a possible assignment for you. It's going to be an all-new Punisher. And it's something that's totally additive to the Marvel Universe. The way that we've been discussing it is sort of introducing the Danny Ketch to Frank's Johnny Blaze. So it's really cool, our new character, Joe Garrison. He's a former S.H.I.E.L.D. Wetworks agent who retired for the call of family, and unfortunately, somebody blew up his house with his family in it, and the authorities think he did it. And it's really kind of, we're starting with an origin story. It's sort of how Joe becomes this new Punisher. And I'm so excited. He's such a fun character. We're really focusing on sort of the gun fu elements of it all. Half the appeal of this character is he can fight and improvise and think his way out of any situation. And it's really, you can throw him in a restaurant, you can throw him in a nightclub, you can throw him in a business tower, and half the fun is figuring out how's Joe gonna fight his way out. So I'm so thrilled to be working on the Punisher. And Dave Wachter is just an astonishingly talented artist. He's leaving it all out on the field. You can see Dave's preliminary design for the character, and it's just, every page is spectacular. So I cannot wait for you all to read it.
The Miko cover. I didn't know he was doing these.
That's so good. I haven't seen that one yet either, and I
Miko's
love it.
a virtuoso.
Yeah, Miko Suayan, unbelievable talent. And this awesome variant cover, it's going to be on number 1. But we're so excited for this book and to introduce a new Punisher for a new era, for a new time, for the current present day. It's going to be very different, but super, super cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about that, David.
we're just so excited for this book. You know, for me, it's always about how do we build a bigger table and how do we invite as many readers to it as possible. And so, you know, existing fans of The Punisher, new people who want to join in, we want you all here at the table because this is going to be a story that doesn't sacrifice any of the attitude, any of the badassness, any of the action. We're cranking the dial to 11, and we are not letting the pedal off the metal.
Awesome, awesome.